Something as simple as rock placement has a huge role to play in his advanced care. Because he's destroyed his enclosure and's grown out of his burrow, we're going to redo his enclosure and talk you through the benefits and why everything in this enclosure is where it is. And hopefully through this video you're going to learn, even if it's just the smallest little thing, to help advance the care of your Savannah monitor. So the general gist is we need to get him out of this enclosure, which can sometimes be quite the challenge. We're going to have to lift up this basking spot and move it all around, move the substrate around, rejiggle that he knocked over. Now this basking spot was a burrow underneath. There was an entrance here and an exit over here. He blocked it off this side, so I put that piece of slate over there. That side he never used, and then he burrowed down that back corner just there, and he sleeps underneath that log. I want to lift that slab up and see what the burrow's like underneath it, but that's just one of the things we've got to do, and we're going to talk through the benefit of everything else in this enclosure. This is Hugo. Let's take a look inside his enclosure and see what work we actually have to do. You be good now, mate. I'm just going to sort out your enclosure just here. So first off, we've got these slab pieces. They've all fouled down. I would assume, if you have a look down there, he's put his actual bricks that are holding his basking spot up. They've all concaved in, so I'll have to get the basking spot off, have a look at the burrow underneath it and get it fixed. Probably put another burrow underneath it, I'm not too sure. I want to get that log out and just have a look and see what it's like under there. I need to find a way to give him a good big burrow under this side. You can see he's burrowed down this part as well. He's tried to dig up that slate just there, and that slate. You can see how he's tried to burrow underneath that. I think Hugo is trying to get in again, aren't you, mate? Aren't you? So let's start working on this. Dustpan, a brush, and my ginger fat muscles. He's took himself back into his enclosure. So I'll get the water bowl out first and give that a scrub. And let's tell you the benefit of having this rock in this location for this animal. You can see its location directly underneath the UVB strip bulb. There's the lamp that's shining its rays down just like that. There's the rocks. The wavelengths from that lamp come down quite aggressive like that and get absorbed into those rocks. They also get deflected off those rocks in a much longer wavelength, just like in nature. And their bodily functions, just like ours, have different effects and benefits from having different wavelengths of light. So he can often be seen just lounging around on top of that one just there, obtaining the rays directly from and the rays that are being reflected off that stone. It also acts, as you can see, all the shadows. Well, that's where a lot of the rays are not getting to. So he can easily lounge his head underneath all these different areas if he wants to hide out of the rays. Same with the plants. You can see all the dappled shadows that are gained on top of that rock because of that plant. If he wants to get out of the UVI rays, he can just go underneath there. Look at him being lazy back down there. I can't believe he took himself back into his enclosure. The stonework can also help with keeping his nails nice and trim, so when I do handle him, they're not needle sharp. But not everything in the enclosure is for the benefit of him. This is a fully bioactive enclosure. We do have wood, we do have rotten wood, and we do have a clean-up crew in here. Right there is a superworm that's going into pupation to turn into a beetle. Everything there helps him live a much more naturalistic lifestyle, and that's what you want to achieve to give them the best care, the most advanced care possible. But now on to why 2 bulbs. Now the 2 bulbs are solely there because of his size. When he gets to full adult size, he will have 3 bulbs. Why is that? If he basks just on that one spot just over there, that's not big enough to cover his entire body, and he needs to bask his entire body. If it gets a little bit too hot, a little bit too cold, he can angle himself away from one of them, like he has done right here. These bulbs are mercury vapor bulbs. They're the Reptile Systems D3 basking bulbs. I highly recommend them. They've never let me down, and they are producing an amazing amount of UVB and UVA light along with infrared. They're absolutely perfect. Let's try and lift this basking spot. Number 1, this piece. Number 2, this piece. And what are we left with? Those bricks shouldn't be there. They should be supporting that basking spot up. So I'm now going to have to lift him out and move that basking spot. This log, that can come out. Then the big one. We've got to lift this big slab up now. Look at that, he's still trying to get back in. He's just there. I've had to use that cushion to actually stick his basking spot on. But look at what we've found. This is a surprise beyond surprises. Let me tell you that. That slab just there was on 2 upright bricks. And that was supporting the top slab. It looks like it's fell in. There we go. So you can see there's one upright brick. There's another upright brick, and down there was the burrow. You can see it again if I move that one. Boom. I'm blown away by how bad that actually looks. So now we've got to clean it all up and try and put it back together. So that's his burrow sorted anyway. What we've done, we've added the slab back on, we've made the gap underneath a lot wider, we've added more rock work as opposed to log work. It's got the entrance to his burrow just there. It comes underneath the slab. So through the day, these are actually heating up the slab. Inside the burrow, there's a bit of substrate that is damp, so we've got high humidity inside the burrow, which is exactly how nature is. They have burrows, they live in burrows. It's 100% humidity inside the burrows, but it's not that outside the burrows. So giving him that opportunity to recreate nature's example is only going to benefit him in one way or another. I still do have this nice big log work just here, and I don't think it's actually going to go quite well inside that enclosure. I'm going to leave it out for a bit and just see what happens, because I can always use that for a different species that I do own. Back over the cold side, we're going to add in his water dish, drop that just there and fill it up. And that's his upgraded setup complete. Big water dish, big enough for him to bathe in on the cold side of the enclosure. Live plants, deep substrate, it's a sand soil mixture. If you want to see how to make that, just click the card just up there. We've got the UVB strip bulb, big burrow down that back corner, massive basking spot with a rock worked climbing area. 2 mercury vapor D3 basking bulbs by Reptile Systems, they're the 100 watts. They're suspended down just like that to give him the correct ultraviolet index for his species. And that is it. For now, this will work. Ideally, this is not his adult enclosure. His adult enclosure is coming. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Peace.